Hi folks, this is Vicki from patternprincess.com. Today I'm going to show you how to do the Tunisian Simple Stitch. It's also called the basic stitch, and some folks do call it the Afghan stitch. I just love it. I think it looks really like a knit stitch, and here is a project that you can do using that simple stitch. If you're looking for a beginning project, if you've never done it before, to be honest, this is how I learned. And of course, I made over 100 of these washcloths here. My daughter got married, and I made over 100 of them, and I had these paired with some, nice hand lotions and soaps and things, and I think folks really liked them. But what I did, you can tell it has like a nice little stitch here on this side, and if you flip it over, look at this beautiful weave stitch on the back. You can see where the rows go across here, and then there's bars that you can see running up and down through this. This particular washcloth here is 20 stitches wide, and it's 24 rows long. And then what I did is because Tunisian crochet happens to generally want to roll up on you, and here's a sample I did for today, and as you can see, it wants to roll up on me. Now you can block this if it's something like this washcloth is going to be getting wet, so if you block it, well, it's just going to roll up again. So what I did is I added a border on this, but you can block something if it's not something that you're not going to be getting wet, like if you're going to make a cowl or a blanket or something like that. But this has a beautiful stitch on this side, the knit look, and it has the weave side on the back side. And then this one here, I actually did the bind off, and you can see this was the part that I started with down here, and then up here, this is the part that I did the bind off. And it looks really nice on both ends. Now I'm going to show you towards the end of the video, once I show you how to do the stitch, how to bind off. Now if you take a look at this one, this is the bottom, and this one has not had the bind off yet. You see how that looks a little bit open there? And so you want to bind it off, and then it'll look a little bit nicer on both ends. It'll look symmetrical. So then the washcloth, what I did here, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I did 2 rounds of single crochet, and then in each corner I did 3 single crochet to help it lay flat. So this is, again, a very nice project to do once you're working with your Tunisian Simple Stitch. This is a Tunisian Simple Stitch, or I should say a Tunisian hook. Mine happens to be a very long one. I have a 12-inch hook. It has this on the end so that if I do make something big enough, which to be honest I have not yet, the stitches will be on here and they won't come off for you. It's a nice thing to help the stitches stay on. Some crochet hooks have like a square knobby thing. This is a boy size I hook, and it's 5.5 millimeter. So let's get started here. I'm going to do a sample swatch for you here. I thought I could put my little loop on here, but it looks like I'm going to have to quickly make it again. So you just put your slip stitch on your hook. There we go. And then, oh gosh, let's see, I'm going to work like maybe, let's go 10 stitches maybe. So we'll yarn over, and we'll do just our regular chain stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, and then I move my fingers up as I'm working along, because that'll help keep the tension the same. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you don't, hopefully I didn't make them too tight, because then it's a little bit hard to get your hook in the back side of it. Okay, we have our 10 stitches on here. So we have our top loop here and our bottom loop here. And normally when we're going to start off our crochet, we work in one of those loops. We're going to turn this whole thing around. And you notice these back bumps here along your crochet? That's the back bumps we're going to be working in. Now we're not going to work in this first one because I have this loop on my hook already. So we're not going to look at that or count that, but that's a loop that we're going to count, I should say. We're just not going to do anything with this very first loop here. So we're going to put our hook into this back loop. Whoopsies, going off camera. Into this back loop. Yarn over and keep it on your hook. Again, insert, yarn over, and keep it on your hook. Insert it into that back loop. Yarn over, and I don't know, I still like to put my finger here because I just feel like they're going to come off. I think it's just habit, even though they're probably not going to come off. So And I'm just going to insert this, keep putting them on my hook. It's almost like you're casting on for knitting or something. It's kind of the same concept, I think. So years and years ago, my grandma was going to try and teach me how to knit, and I have not mastered that. Okay, so now we just did the last one. So now let's count. So here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Looks good. We started with 10. We still have 10. So now we're going to begin this is almost like considered a forward pass, and there's always a forward pass and a backward pass when you're doing Tunisian crochet. So here we go. I'm going to yarn over and bring this through 1 loop, then yarn over, bring it through 2 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, 2 loops. I actually think that this backward pass is the easiest part of Tunisian. Once you get going, I can really start flying through the backward pass, and it's kind of fun. So now we started. I'm going to pull up this loop so I can put this down and talk to you about this a second. So we've just really completed one row in our Tunisian crochet. But you notice here we have, right here, we have bars. We have bars up and down, vertical bars. That's what we're going to be working in. So on the back side of here, of this washcloth, you see those vertical bars? We're going to be working under there for our forward pass and our backward pass. And so you really end up with 2 rows of yarn back there. Okay, so I'm going to get my hook back in here, and we are going to do our forward pass. So I already have this on the hook, so I don't worry about that first one. So I'm going to go into this next one here. See, this would be our first vertical bar right there, but that's on there already. So now we go into this next vertical bar, put your hook underneath it, grab your yarn, yarn over, bring it through, and you just keep that loop on the hook. Next vertical bar, yarn over, bring it through, keep it on the hook. And we're going to do this all the way across. And what I also like to do as I'm working this, sometimes your work kind of wants to stick in the middle of this, so I like to move this up, just kind of like readjust it every once in a while so that it doesn't get too tight and pull on you. I just find that it works a little bit better as you get going on your project. All right, so now there's no vertical bar, right, on the end. So what we have here is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So now we have to do one more. In this end, I don't know if you can see it here. In this end, there's like this little V-stitch part right here. There's like a V. So we put our hook right through that, right there. Let me yarn over again. I'm going to yarn over and bring this through and keep that on your hook. That way, the end of your work looks very much like the first part of your work. Now we have 10 loops on our hook again, right? Now we yarn over, bring it through 1. Yarn over, bring it through 2. Yarn over, bring it through 3. Here we go. And we're just going to keep on until we're to the end. And that's, you just continue to repeat what we just did all the way through to make that washcloth. That is the basic stitch. Don't count the first one. Here's that vertical bar, and we do our forward pass. See, it becomes pretty fast once you kind of start to get used to it. And again, don't make your stitches too tight, because then it'll be hard to get your hook through. And it's different holding this long hook compared to your normal crochet hook, right? So that it takes a little bit of practice and getting used to. And the other thing is you know, making sure that on the very end here, you're putting your hook through those 2 loops, that V part there. And again, let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're doing good. And we'll do our backwards pass. And if you notice, this is starting to curl up a little bit. I want to show you how it looks on the other side, because you're seeing the back side here, but you're not seeing the pretty front side. So I'll show you how that looks. And the reason that I work in that initial row, the reason I work on that back bump, I'll pull this up bigger, is so that on the bottom, look at on the bottom. Do you see how that bottom looks really nice? Otherwise, you just have one stitch hanging down. And then when you have to do a single crochet around here, what a nice beautiful stitch to just go right through your 2 loops that you would normally work for your single crochet all the way around your project. And see how this is really starting to take shape? I think that it looks really nice. I just love this stitch. So again, now I'm going to show you how to bind this off. Here's a sample that I had started. Now let me make my loop smaller and get my hook in here for you. And you could use a regular crochet hook for binding off. You don't have to use this long hook. But as long as I have it with me, this is what I'm going to do. So we're going to do a forward pass, but we're only going to do a forward pass. We're not going to do a backward pass this time. So again, we go to the first vertical bar, yarn over, bring our yarn through, and bring our yarn through. Go through the vertical bar, yarn over, bring it through, and bring it through. It's really, you're doing a slip stitch. So we go through the vertical bar, and we just slip stitch through our loop on our hook. And that's all that there is to it. You see how I'm doing that? And then I'm going to show you how pretty this looks when it's all done. And again, you could put a border on this, or you could go ahead and get this laying flat by, there we go, by working with it that way. So here we go. It's all done. Well, this is our sample. We have it bound off on the top. We have the sides that look really nice and pretty together. There's no gaping holes all over the place. One side looks the same pretty much as the other side, but it's a very easy stitch to do, and I really hope that you take some time and make something pretty with this Tunisian Simple Stitch as well. And thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe.